Hey, Chrissy, how are you this afternoon?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing awesome. Bouncing around as usual. It's a Monday for us today, and it's here, there, and everywhere. Super excited. But most importantly, I am so happy to have you here to share your story with us today.
Well, it's not something I would normally ever do, but I just, when I feel passionately about something, I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone because I mean, this is good stuff. So I got to say it.
That I love it for two reasons. One, that you love it so much that you're willing to talk about it on camera. And two, the fact that we can sometimes push people outside of their comfort zones and just break outside the box a little bit, just grow a little bit more. Each challenge that you go through, we always push you a little bit further outside. So that's another thing that makes me so excited.
Yeah, I don't like being out of my comfort zone. I'm unfortunately one of those people where it's really hard for me to do that. But as I'm getting older and I'm just seeing how it's important for my kids too, that they see me push me out of my comfort zone, I'm trying to do it.
And life is short, right? Like we've got a girl in our challenges. When I met her 3 years ago, she was this shy woman who is very homebound all the time, and throughout the 3 years she's building her thriving online community. She's in front of the camera all the time. Her personality is completely changed. She's a brand new woman, and sometimes taking a few of those risks, taking those chances pays off.
I agree.
So tell me, Chrissy, you joined us here in this past challenge. Where were you about a month and a half ago? What was going on in your life that you found us? Like, what was your health status and your life status at that point?
Well, my health status for sure at its lowest. So my heaviest weight, my most unhealthy, lowest self-esteem for sure. I've dieted since I was 11. Honestly, maybe even younger, where I was too aware of food and already hating myself for things that I ate that young.
Yeah.
And I did pretty much every diet known to man. I did in the 80s, Richard Simmons' Deal Meal. I did Fit or Fat in the 90s, where fat was the worst thing you could possibly do to your body. No fat. Yeah. So I ate white rice for several years.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I actually had to go see a neurologist because I was getting so many migraines. I thought there was something severely wrong with me.
Seriously.
White rice, wasn't good. I did everything. I've done a 21-day fix. I've done Atkins. I had a personal trainer where I had to feed myself every 3 hours and log every macro on a spreadsheet. It was a full-time job. Yeah, I've done everything. I mean, I could write a book on it. So I just thought, you know what do I have to lose at this point?
Yeah.
There's only one way to go when you feel like you're kind of at your lowest. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a try.
Yeah. So what happened when you found, like, first of all, how did you find us? And then what happened when you did? What were you expecting to find in this program?
Well, what I found is nothing what I was expecting. So I saw on Facebook, I saw Nancy Putney's photo, and I know Nancy from our summer pool. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I messaged her and I asked her about, and she's like, yeah, do it.
Yeah.
So I did it, not at all knowing what I was even getting into at all. And I mean, it's just been such an amazing surprise. Everything about it is so much more than I thought it would be. I kind of went in just thinking, okay, well, if anything, I just need the support, and I can see there's that. But I got more support than I thought. The classes are amazing. The food, it works so well. I'm not counting, I'm not measuring, I'm not weighing, I'm not putting in little containers, I'm not feeding myself like a newborn baby every 3 hours. It's good stuff. Yeah. Good stuff. So I'm just so pleased.
Amazing. What would you say is some of your favorite highlights right now that you've discovered, that things you just really didn't realize before and now you're like, wow, that's not what I knew?
Well, the fasting's pretty cool. I still don't understand the whole science behind it. So I mean, I'm only going into week 5. So I think, there's a lot to learn still, but that's surprising to me because I would have thought that that's a negative thing to do. Like I said, when I was with the trainer, she said, you have to eat right away within a half hour of waking up. You have to eat and you eat and I was just constantly feeding myself.
Mm.
And this is very different. And, I've read some and there's nothing but good stuff written about fasting. So that surprised me a lot, a lot. And I like to fast. It's good.
It is definitely counterintuitive from anything we've ever been taught since the time we were born.
Oh, yeah.
Problem is that our bodies are tens of thousands of years old. We're not 30 years old within our, human race.
Mhm.
So, we're going on science that was trendy and convenient for the government and for big business, because of course they want you eating every 2 hours. They've got something to sell you.
Yeah.
If the companies are selling, that means the governments are making their tax money. And it's definitely in their advantage to promote this lifestyle. And we were just going on really bad science. So before I get into my whole fasting mastermind, which I have a fasting workshop coming up soon, so I know you clicked in to want to watch that. And this fasting workshop is designed around the fasting chapter of my new book coming out, Your Health is Non-Negotiable, Your 6-Week Guide to Total Transformation. So that's why I'm doing the free workshop, because I want to present the information that I teach in the book. So with that aside, tell me a little bit about some of the results, because you're not even finished your first challenge yet, so we don't have official 6-week loss results. What
Right.
are you experiencing in your body, in your sleep, in your stress levels, just your overall feeling of energy? How are you feeling now since you've been 5 weeks in?
I don't feel like the same person, and that's really good. So I weighed myself at the 3-week mark, and that I had lost 9.5 pounds.
Nice.
So that I'm really pleased with that. I mean, I'm super pumped.
Yeah.
I have a lot to lose, so I understand that for me versus someone else, visually, the changes aren't going to be so dramatic until a while from now, but internally, the changes were almost instantaneous. I would say, like, by the second week, I felt so great. The first week was so hard, though.
Yeah.
Um, by I think it was day 5 that I had a meltdown.
No.
A meltdown. My sister called and I'm like crying, like bawling hysterically. Like a cry where you've gone to the bad place. I,
Those deep.
yeah, like a baby. Like, I mean, we're really close, so thank God she could take it. But I think there was just so much happening in me, and I was probably in really bad withdrawal. But
Wow.
yeah, once I got through that, like I said, by week 2, I was feeling so much better.
And I'm so happy you identified it as a withdrawal, because,
I know.
that turning point where the toxins are coming out, the processed foods being eliminated, the sugars being dramatically cut down, and your body is definitely going through a shift, right? There's things changing, hormones are changing, and of course it's going to attack you emotionally. So I'm so proud of you for recognizing that at that point, it's just a matter of just getting over that hump. Because what happened when you got over the hump?
Oh, it was a complete 180. It was totally different. But you know that it's not, you can know what it is, especially because I've just thought about food so much my whole life that, I know I'm like a junkie, and it was basically that. It was like the junkies, stop the drug and things are not good. But
Yeah.
but it's got to get ugly before it gets good, and that's why you stay with it, because there's only good stuff ahead. But I'm just, I'm tired of food being so powerful in my life. I'm so tired of it.
Yeah.
It's exhausting and it's demoralizing, and it goes into my dreams at night. It's always there. And I want to be normal. Like, I want to be someone who, it's just like breathing. Like, I know what to eat, I eat, and I'm not obsessing or feeling conflicted, or I just want to be normal.
I'm so glad you said that, Chrissy, because, there's so much on the internet about counting calories and macro pie charts and measuring your food and weighing your food and obsessing about food. And it's so the opposite of what I teach, because up until 50 years ago, I say this many times, we're tens of thousands of years old, and somehow for the last kabillion years, we've been able to eat normally, stay lean, stay relatively healthy, normally, naturally, instinctively. And that's what we try to teach you, is how to listen to your body instinctively, intuitively, so you just know how to feed it properly. And the only way you can do that is when your body isn't lying to you anymore, because your body lies to you, right? When it's filled with chemicals, toxins, preservatives, and all sorts of other crap that we put into it, your body and your gut and the way how your gut and your mind communicate, they start lying to you. And then it's the same as heroin, alcoholism, smoking. Your body is like, gimme, gimme.
Except that you can't even cut it out of your life, right? Like, you still have to eat. So that's
because it's normal.
Yeah.
It's advertised. It's on advertisements. It's in your grocery store. It's at the corner store. Your person sitting next to you on the bus is like eating it. So that it's a confusing and conflicting way. And I still catch myself in those environments where you rationalize in your mind why it's okay to eat this or that, when if it's a man-made product, if it's got chemicals in it in any form, if it's got the vegetables oil in it, the hydrogenized vegetable oils and so on, it will clog and deteriorate your body, and that mind brain connection is going to start to act up again.
Yeah, for sure. No, you're right. I mean, I'm a fairly healthy person, which actually surprises me. My husband pushed me to go see my GP like 3 years ago. He said, you never go to the doctor, go. And I had the whole battery of tests. And it turns out, I have high blood pressure, which is hereditary. So I'm taking meds for that. And hopefully that will not be the case eventually.
Likely.
And I have hypothyroidism. So I guess there's not a whole lot I can do about that. But there's a lot of diabetes in my family. My blood sugar is really good. And my mom died recently from Alzheimer's. So that you know what, I don't want to go that way. I saw my mom deteriorate for 13 years. That was really hard.
That's a tough one. God, that's horrible. That my grandfather had Parkinson's. So, for you, when you watch the people that you love over time and you just see them, dwindling down, it's heartbreaking. But luckily and thankfully today we have so much education available to us. So especially for you, that if you have Alzheimer's in your family, in your genetics, there is a lot of nutritional actions that you can take today to help to minimize and dramatically impact how that might be for you in the 40s, 50s, and 60s as you get older.
Yeah, my mom was a sugar junkie, and as a child, there was a lot of sugar in the house, like a lot. That was just normal for us. Anybody who ate yogurt, imagine yogurt was like for health freaks for us. Like, it was freakish to have yogurt. I mean, we had, the caramel spreads and the sugary cereals and the soft drinks. It was really bad. So.
And imagine this is how you grew up since the time you were a young child. This is your imprint. So of course it's so difficult to change that, right? Like, you've spent 30, 40 years living this lifestyle. It's all you've ever known. And all this time you've been living the way that our bodies are just not designed to have these boxed cereals, these, what do you call those Pop-Tarts things?
Oh,
And, you know,
like, and my fair share of Pop-Tarts.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. So, I mean, basically, not only growing up on just carbohydrates, which are, you know, like high carbohydrates, high complex carbs, all this, but just growing up on all those simple sugars, on all those toxic chemicalized sugars, that for your whole life, if you're sitting there saying, well, I don't understand how I got to be like this at 30 years old, look at the way you've lived your entire life.
Yeah, which is why I'm completely different with my own kids.
Yeah.
Breakfast cereal is not something that we ever have bought. My 10-year-old, I think the only time she's had breakfast cereal is when we've gone on vacation. You know, you stop over at the hotel and they have the continental breakfast. Like, doesn't even know what breakfast cereal is. They have spinach smoothies for breakfast, and
Nice.
their friends think they're complete freaks, and they come over and they're like, do you really have that every day? And it's like, yeah. You just
Nice.
slept over. Guess what? That's what you get.
Ah! Good for you, Chrissy. That's fantastic. Oh, because it's so true. So many parents, what happens is that they have an emotional connection with food, that feel-good feelings that they felt as a child for when their parents took them to McDonald's or gave them, you know, a chocolate bar or whatever. And because it's such a warm, loving feeling that they've adopted over their time, they want to do that for their kids because they want to feel like, I want to give my child that same nurturing feeling that I have, and a coffee crisp equals that feeling. And we still give treats to our kids in these epic high amounts of sugar, but really, are they treats or just little packages of poison, right? Like, what are we saying is good for our kids when we give it to them?
That's the thing, is that I don't see it as love. You know, I had to stop the cycle because my mom continued her cycle from when she was a kid. And the sad thing is, like, my mom found her own mother dead on the floor with a candy wrapper in her hand when she was 17.
Oh my
And,
God.
you know, it wasn't enough for her to say, but I mean, I guess you didn't really know back then
You
what we
didn't
know
know.
now. But,
Yeah.
and then, you know, for her, it's sad to think that my mom could have not ended her life the way she did. You know, I know enough and I've seen enough to know, like, I just don't want any part of that. I really don't.
No,
But
well, the good news is in the case of being involved here is we have the Hack Your Brain workshop coming up. So we are going to dive deep into brain health and Alzheimer's, obviously being a very big topic that we'll be talking about relative to ADHD, bipolar, schizophrenia, depression, anxiety, panic attacks, all that sort of stuff. So when we go through that workshop, we're going to cover all of the brain hacks that you can start doing now to strengthen your brain and making sure that you're nourishing your brain effectively to try and minimize it. It comes down obviously to your DNA when it comes to a lot of these issues, and it's whether or not you turn that switch on or off. And a lot of times those switches are turned on or off relative to nutrition and or chemicals and toxins exposed to the body. So that'll be on the list as we go. Thankfully so much you have signed up for a year-long membership. So,
you know what? I signed up. I mean, knowing even when I signed up for a year, to me, like, I won't even, if this is something that I have to do forever,
yeah,
I'm happy to do it. And honestly, it's such a small price to pay
yeah.
to be healthy and to live a healthy life. I mean, honestly, if I, after a year of this, if I still feel, yeah, I want to continue, I need the support, I'm just going to keep going for as long as you're around. So
I'm ecstatic. You know, we did sell our memberships a couple of weeks ago, and I had my members who were already signed up for a year sign up for their second year well in advance because they are that motivated, inspired, and I guess enjoying the community so much to know, hey, I'm with you until 2020. You know?
yeah. No, I get it. That's where I am too.
Yeah.
I I understand that.
Super exciting. Tell us a little bit about the community and our Facebook page and the motivational videos and the stuff. What are the stuff that you are finding outside of the fitness and nutrition that is inspiring you?
Oh gosh, so much. It's nice to see everybody post their successes and even a little bit of their struggles. And there's always really supportive comments. I mean, anyone can post and just feel completely boosted by what people write. I mean, we're all in this together. We're all women who have, similar struggles. We get each other, and there's no judgment. I mean, Facebook is just like, I mean, usually groups are horrible, right? It's nothing but tearing each other down. This is completely the opposite. This is just completely the opposite.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that, because I was on one of our local groups there for a little while, and I was there for like a day, and I was reading some of the stuff, and I'm like, I'm out of here.
It's horrible. It's
my God.
It's like you see the worst traits in humankind when you go on those groups. It's like the worst.
Well, they hide behind a computer screen, right?
Yeah.
There's no way you would say that to someone standing behind you at the grocery store.
No, you wouldn't. I mean, that just wouldn't happen. But no, this group's amazing. And I love the classes. That surprised me too. I wasn't sure I'd like the virtual classes. But honestly, it is so interactive, and you're being trained while you're working out, which I love. My daughter, when she works out with me, you don't see her, but she's on the sidelines. When you do, she's just howling with laughter. And you laugh. I mean, it's very it's very motivating. And Mara too. Like, I was on the bike, and she's like, "Chrissy, put your tension up." And I'm like,
how do you know? I know, because I love training you online, because you work so hard. You're cursing it, you're hating it, you're like, I can see it in your voice, you're like, you just want to kill me. And then I'll correct you, and you'll be like, okay.
I know you're right. Like, I know and I'm so grateful for it. But honestly, I hate working out. I will always hate working out. But for me, the worst part is that part leading up to the workout. It's the anticipation of it. When I'm doing it, I hate it, but I'm like, I know I'm in it, and it's going to be over. And then when it's over, it's just amazing. But that's the other thing, is like booking the workouts. You've committed to that.
That's right.
There's no going back.
Yep.
I mean, unless something catastrophic happens, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Whereas when I used to do this myself at home, I'd be like, oh, I'm really busy right now. I'll just do it later. I'll just do it. Before I knew it, the day was gone and I hadn't done it.
Yep.
That was me every day.
And we're watching for you. If we haven't seen you in a while, we're like, well, Chrissy, are you coming on?
I'm counting on it. Like, that's what I need. Yeah. That's what I really need to succeed. Like, I need the push, I need the support, and I need to be called out on my crap. I want to be.
We're crap callers.
Hey, it works. You know what? It works for me anyways. I love it.
Tell me, Chrissy, if you met your best friend on the street and you had 30 seconds to tell her the highlights of this program, what would you say to her?
I'd say the community, the accountability. You are accountable for your meals, for everything you do. You check in. You're not just lost somewhere in space. Like, someone's got your back. That's pretty cool. I'd say, the classes are awesome. So much variety. It's just so doable. No one's asking you to exercise 7 hours a week. It's really reasonable. I mean, I could go on, and then the plan just makes sense. Eat well.
Eat well. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. Yeah. Chrissy, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. Super appreciate going into your childhood and really identifying some of those root causes of the true transformation that needs to happen here. Thank you for signing up for the year membership, because now we know that every challenge that goes through, we can set a new goal for you. We can have a new focus point so that each challenge that you go through will get to tweak and just improve a little bit more each time that we go. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. It's only good from here on out.
High five with the butt slap, girl. See you later.
Bye, Sherry.
Bye, sweetie.